Hello and welcome to this overnight taste challenge. I have two rye whiskeys. This is Jim Beam Rye, pre-Prohibition style, and it was introduced in 2015, but then it was abruptly discontinued in 2024, and I don't know why. They replaced it with the one it replaced. It was replaced by the old 80 proof, I guess you call it bland Jim Beam Rye. I never tried it, but I just assumed it'd probably become adult. I don't know what the reasoning was. Now, when this first hit the market, it was in a slender bottle. I've seen some of those around, just like the Jim Beam Black was in a slender bottle. But then they went to this more stylized bottle, I guess you could call it. I can't say traditional bottle because they always had slender bottles and they always had plain whiskey bottles back in the 1800s. They weren't all fancy. Kentucky straight rye whiskey. Here is Johnnie Walker High Rye blended Scotch whiskey, 60% rye whiskey. And as you can see, it says also malted barley and wheat. Married with the singest the singest final malts, the finest single malts. So I guess it's maybe unmalted barley, wheat, and then single. I don't know. They don't explain it. They give all kind of tasting notes. It was introduced in 2021. I found it for a great price of $19.99 at Walmart. True story. They still have it over there. Bunch of bottles. And now the price is $10.27. So from the time I bought it, it's gone up 28 cents. You know what? I think it's 10. Yeah, it's 10.27. I was going to say 26, but yeah, it went up 28 cents. That's not a lot. Okay. Aged in American oak, ex-bourbon barrels, and also first fill casks. Didn't say charred casks. First fill meaning they're filling it for the first time, but maybe filling it in Scotland for the first time. Usually virgin casks mean never been used before. First fill means it could be some blended whiskey cask or something like that, and they send it to Scotland, and the first time they fill it was with Johnnie Walker. I think that's what that means, but it's okay. It doesn't matter really. So introduced 2015 and abruptly discontinued 9 years later. And then I saw they had the Jim Beam white label rye, 80 proof, and $15.99. I said, I gotta buy it. I went to Total Wine and bought it. Oh yeah, I was so excited. Then I noticed they dropped the price to $13.99. I felt played. Now it's $11.99. I really felt bad. I paid $4 too much. I'll do the screen share. Oh, well, let's show you the Jim Beam rye is darker. It's more copper, and this one is more amber. So now I know some people are going to say, oh, that's not a good challenge because that Johnnie Walker's not a real rye whiskey because it's from Scotland and it's blended. Well, it is a rye whiskey. Most of these in America are blended. Okay, so that's a good argument, a point of argument. American oak barrels, single malts from distilleries such as Cardew. That's probably the lead one. Now they also talk about Colilla, Titch, and all these other ones. Maybe just little droplets from those. So there's the backside of the bottle. Not much to see, is there? I don't know if it's selling or not. I haven't checked the sales figures. I don't really see people talking about it. Oh, also, it's produced under a royal warrant for King Charles III. This bottle says Queen Elizabeth II because, like I said, it came out in 2021 before she passed away in 2022. This camera has a problem focusing in the dark. There it goes. There it goes. So you have to apply to get a royal warrant. And then there's like a commission that evaluates the product, make sure it's of the highest quality, of course. And then they'll put that on your bottle, and it's good for 5 years. And then you have to renew every 5 years. And I was trying to think of the two companies that lost their royal warrant. It was Cadbury and it was another, it's a drink company that is pretty well known. Oh yeah, Ben and Jerry. King Charles. I read the article in the King Charles ends royal warrants for Ben and Jerry's owner, Unilever, and Cadbury chocolatiers. Cadbury is owned by Mondelez, who owns Nabisco. Okay, Nabisco. Oh, yeah. This is what it was. Both of those companies were known to continue doing business in Russia, and they didn't want anybody to do business in Russia because of the conflict with Ukraine, and they continued to do it. But they didn't say that's why they dropped them. They don't have to explain why, but that's probably why. Okay, but anyway, maybe the United States can start a presidential warrant, official whiskey to the White House, even though the president doesn't drink or smoke. The new president taken over today at 11, who used to be president before. And according to him, was still president and had gotten cheated. Oh, but anyway, that happened with Grover Cleveland, elected in 1884. He lost in 1888, and he got reelected in 1892. So he was president two different times, not non-consecutive in Trump. Two different non-consecutive terms. Now he can't run a third time because they changed the rules in the 1950s with a constitutional amendment say you could only be elected president twice. The Republicans led that effort because of being angry over Roosevelt getting elected 4 times in a row. Now they probably regret doing that because maybe they could get their guy in there numerous times. Not somebody at Trump's age being that old wouldn't be feasible, but a younger person that could be popular. But anyway, I don't believe in term limits. I never support term limits. I read good articles about that back in the 90s, why term limits were a bad idea. And I was convinced, yeah, that you're right, they are a bad idea. So I don't support it. A lot of people do because they have this false assumption that if you limit people to office, they'll somehow be replaced by better people. There's no indication of that. And if you turn somebody into a lame duck, there's a much better chance they're not going to be effective because they got nothing to worry about. They can't get reelected anyway. But if you got that hanging over their head, it might encourage them to do better. But anyway, enough of that. Let me mix these up for sure. And I'm going to have to close my eyes because I'm scared if I glance down and see that darker color, that copper, I'm going to know what it is, the Jim Beam. So yeah, it's too bad they discontinued it. I mean, I guess it's too bad. I haven't tried the white label yet, so it has green on it though. You see, this is all green. You know, rye whiskeys, they like to use green. Although the old Jim Beam rye pre 2015 was a yellow label, yellow for some reason. And then I got the Winchester rye, which is gold and black. But typically, it's a green thing. It's a green thing. You wouldn't understand. All right, smells like mint. Yes. So what I'm at 3-1 right now, 3 wins, 1 loss. I believe so. Yeah, this could put me at 4-1. And this one smells like mint, mint and mint. So aroma, I'm not noticing much difference at all. Now that might sound outrageous, but I'm just telling you the truth. If I did notice a difference, I'd quickly announce that. The appearance is different. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. On this cold morning. And I'm gonna try to go walking in that cold. Yeah. Mint, rye bread. I could say corn, but I don't really see it. But is it sweet? Not too sweet. Bourbon to me is sweeter like sugar water, but this doesn't really have the sugar water application, or I should say presentation. Okay. Same characteristics. Now, you know that wheat's going to give it a softer body, theoretically. Hey, but this one seems to have charred oak, the barrel char. Well, it is barrel charred. It is aged in charred oak. It has to be by law. Kentucky straight rye whiskey has to be at least 51% rye. The other 49 doesn't matter. And it has to be aged in charred oak, new, not just charred oak, but new, never before used charred oak barrels. That's the second rule. And the third rule has to be aged at least 2 years. And the fourth rule is that it can use whiskeys from other parts of the state. It doesn't have to all be from the same distillery, like a single malt. It just has to all be from the same state. Kentucky straight rye whiskey. So could they theoretically bring in whiskeys from other distilleries and use it? Yeah, they could. I don't think they would. Why would they? They own probably thousands of barrels of whiskey. But they could, you see. And some people like to talk about charcoal filtering. Oh, that makes it the Lincoln County process. So, yeah, that's not ever discussed. If you look at the regulations, charcoal mellowing is never discussed. Do it, don't do it. It doesn't matter. It has no effect on the regulation of the product. Okay, filter it or don't filter it. It's up to you. So that's a misnomer. That's got a lot of people confused about whiskey. The charcoal filtration's irrelevant. Okay, I mean it's irrelevant to the classification. I don't mean it's irrelevant to the quality of the product. Yeah, I'm gonna say this with the Johnnie Walker. Does it taste like? And it is sugary. Does it taste? I have to admit that. Does it taste like what you would generally consider Scotch whiskey to taste like? No, actually, it doesn't taste anything like that. But it is Scotch whiskey because it's whiskey and it's made in Scotland. So ipso facto, therefore, by logical deductive reasoning, it's a Scotch. Old Pirate Bourbon says, cheers, friends. Whiskey glass and pirate flag. Cheers back to you. Tony's Bizarre Adventure says, Jay does Jim Beam rye. Wake up a guy like coffee. It's probably more likely to put you to sleep. But I did drink 3 cups of coffee, and that helped wake me up. Okay. This has got to be, I should have not opened my eyes because I didn't call it yet. This has got to be but I kind of did call it informally. This is the Jim Beam Pre-Prohibition style rye. Yeah. What tipped me off? The proof? No, because they're both 45% alcohol. The aging? We know that Johnnie Walker is at least 3 years old. They don't say. We know that this one is at least 2. You say 2, that's young. Yeah, I know. But that's the law. It only has to be, it probably is, it's probably longer. But probably more like 4. But what gave it away? Charcoal, charred oak. Do I prefer the charred oak? Probably. It's like steak, or chicken, like say chicken. Fried, I like it. Oven baked, I like it. Rotisserie, I like it. What about smoked? In a smoker, I prefer that one the most. I just like that smoky flavor. All the other 3 I like too, though. It's like I could take steak and fry it in a pan. I'll enjoy it. Always. But if I put it on the grill and you got that, I cover it and let it, that smoke just infuse it for a long time, I prefer that. So is Johnnie Walker a winner? The High Rye certainly is. Does it have negatives? It may have negatives. I don't know what they would be. I can't think of any. Is it worth the money? Yeah, especially the $19.99 I paid. I paid $17.49 for this one in Baton Rouge at Total Wine & More in Baton Rouge. They didn't have it closer to me, but I knew I was going to Houston, and I said on the way back I'll stop. And they said they had it in stock. I figured they'll still have it when I get back, and they did, and I got it. But now it's disappearing. So if you want it, get it before too long. It'll probably disappear. Now, they had one store in Metairie International Market that had Jim Beam 8-year age black. Jim Beam black 8-year age. That's the old one that was discontinued way back around 2015 or 16 when they replaced it with Jim Beam Extra. Remember, it was Jim Beam Black Extra Age, no age statement. That was on the market for so long. But man, I went to International Market. They had Jim Beam Black 8-year age. Old bottles, the old slender bottles and big handles. And I think that was introduced in 1992. And some of those bottles look like they were from 1992. And I bought a bottle. I bought the handle, the big glass. It's the old style Jim Beam bottle. And it was $32.99. And then when people started buying it, then the price jumped up. Maybe people watched our video and said, I'm going to get that. And then it all sold out. It's gone now. I mean, it's been going for a year. But for years, they had those on the shelves. Some of them were covered with dust. Tony says, I know putting water in bourbon makes it taste different, but I want to know if it changes anything if you drink it straight out of the bottle versus a glass. I wouldn't change the alcohol level. I wouldn't drink it out of a bottle personally, unless I didn't have a glass, but everybody does it their way, you know. So that's it. Quality, even. Price point, Johnnie Walker's more expensive. Availability, fading away quickly as it dissipates off the shelf. Like I said, discontinued in 2024, so it's still around, but it won't be too much longer. You might go to a store and see both this and the other one side by side. So I wouldn't wait around. If you're interested to try it, it's worth trying. It's got a nice thing going with it. This one here, I have a feeling that it's not going to be on the shelves too much longer. I got a feeling they're going to phase it out. Why is that? I just get the impression it's not a big seller for them. They got it at the very back end of their list. When they show their core range, this is the last one. Kind of like a ignored product, which is a shame because they tried to do something different, and they did do something different. And I think to me, it's a success. Is it the typical type thing you'd expect from Scotland? No. Does everything have to be the typical thing you'd expect from Scotland? No. So you're not going to find it for $19.99. You're probably going to find it for $32.99, I guess. But I took advantage of it. Now this one you might find for $10 because, like I said, they're closing it out, so they might just discount it to nothing. And hey, why not? $10, you might buy 2 bottles. Well, anyway, Burley Sullivan says, "You, hey Burley, cheers back to you." So, winner or loser? There is no winner or loser unless you consider price, and then obviously the Jim Beam is the clear and present winner. It is the winner for me because I prefer it, but no knock against the Johnnie Walker. So, it's a win-win situation, double approach conflict. It's a conflict because you got to make a choice, but it's double approach. Either choice you make is good. There's no bad choice. So you have to make a choice, but either choice is good. So if you pick Jim Beam, you win. If you pick Johnnie Walker High Rye, you win. That's called a double approach conflict. Or an approach conflict. Because either choice is positive, but you got to make a choice. Would you like ice cream or sherbet, whatever? And you like both. You say, "Oh, I love both," but you only have one. Now you say, "Well, that conflict is a problem. That's a negative because I got to choose." Yeah, that's the negative. I'm not talking about the choice being negative. It is in a sense because you might be a glutton. But the choices are positive. Either way you go, it's positive. That's what we call approach conflict. Evan and Williams green label. Oh, you mean Evan Williams, not Evan and Williams. There's no and. It's just Evan Williams. Yeah, I like Evan Williams green label. 80 proof, aged 3 years, charcoal filter, simple product. I can get a full size bottle. Well, actually, I have to buy 2 halves. No, what am I saying? I can get a full size glass bottle, a liter bottle, no less. A liter. I can get a full size liter bottle. I'm not going to name the store because you're going to go buy it all for $9. $9. I don't need it, so I'm not buying it, but I could do it today if I was willing to drive all the way to blank, Louisiana. I'm not gonna say the name, but just goes to show you, and that's a fine product. Anyway, thanks for watching. Tomorrow I'll try to come back with another one, which would be, I think it's going to be another Kentucky rye whiskey, and it's going to be Winchester, which is only aged 1 year. And I think that one's 80 proof. I think I have to recheck it, but I think so. But I know it's aged 1 year. That's not in doubt. It's from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I think Winchester is going to lose. Only paid $19.99 for it, and that's the regular price, wasn't a closeout price. And I think it's going to get whipped by Johnnie Walker High Rye, but we don't know that until we do the blind taste test. So anyway, see you later, everybody. Bye-bye. I drank that out of the bottle and put a few ice cubes in it, and it really brings out the flavors. Yeah, a lot of people like to drink on the rocks. I get that. I don't do it, but I understand a lot of people like to. All right, well, y'all take care now. Bye-bye.